Welcome to Keep Calm and Mother On with Christy Thomas. I'm back. My studio is set up. The move is 99% done. And it's August. So let's kick off together and finish 2024 strong. Today's episode is inspired by Elmo and an email I just got from Sesame Workshop. But it's also what's been saving my life this summer. And it's the idea of how you can be a friend to yourself. And what does that look like for you? How do you talk to yourself? How do you treat yourself? Do you make yourself a priority? Those are hard questions, I know. But I know that your kids are watching, the people around you are watching, and it's amazing how much impact you have by doing the little things. In fact, I realized this week, my kids are always watching. And it shouldn't be a surprise. We know they're always watching. And we watch the videos on YouTube about like little kids using swear words in public. And they're like, where did you learn that? Because they're always watching and learning. My kids kind of did the opposite this week. When my oldest was driving us all to the library, I was in the back seat and they decided to pretend to be me. And yes, they did do some sort of breathing when the driver got too close to things that maybe wasn't too close. But that's what I do when I'm anxious. I take deep sighs and sharp inhales. But also they talked about like vooing and hand on your heart. And if you don't know what vooing is, you should look it up on YouTube. It's a sound you make to clear, words that you haven't said out of your system. It's a grounding exercise. They talked about hand on your heart. They did the vooing. They did some qigong exercises in the library parking lot. They went to go find books in the library, like all the things that I do. Oh, and they mentioned cute little squirrel that ran across the road. It was fantastic. I'm so glad they're watching me do those things. So I'm going to tell you the things that I use, the questions I use to help anchor my days so that I can be the best friend that I know to myself. In 2015, right, my family had a real 1-2 punch of finding out that we were expecting number 4 and miscarrying number 4 while my husband was deployed. And in that recovery process, which took a lot of time, some of the leading questions I asked myself was, how do I become the happiest mom I know again? And that took time. So if you're in a season of grief, know that you don't have to rush yourself. But these are the questions that I used to pull myself back into being the kindest person I could to myself, into holding myself gently. So I looked at 4 areas and I use them still. The head, which is like your brain, your heart, which is people and passions, your soul, which is your spirit, and your body, which is your health. Okay. So how do I take care of these 4 areas every day so that I can be the best friend that I can to myself? Because that's in my circle of control. Like there's so much chaos out there. Turn off the news, everybody, if you already know who you're going to vote for in the November elections. Control the chaos in your own life. I'm getting talkative with my hands and I'm banging on the desk. Anyways, control what you can control. So when I think about how to take care of my mind, okay, how do I take care of my head? And that's nourishing the brain. I think of having a quiet morning routine. I am an early bird, but I don't want to jump into the day. I am an early bird that likes to ease into the day. My body wakes up early, but it still wants some classical music and some low light and some quiet. And a lot of people find that journaling earlier in the day helps relax their mind. I find the activity that helps me be reflective about the day and gives myself time to talk to myself and like get into the day is actually doodling, or like drawing. like just process painting is what I call it, where you're just making patterns that are repetitive, like Zentangles, or painting with watercolor, or drawing zigzags with markers. It's not like, I don't, it could be abstract art, but it's not, it's not anything for the why. It's just the process of letting my hands be busy so I can listen to myself. The other thing I do every day is that I am insanely curious. And so even if it means just Googling one question or asking Alexa, I want to be curious and learn something new every day. Science says that our brains keep growing and developing and changing. So embrace that and learn something new every day. Maybe it's 5 minutes. Maybe it's 2 minutes, depending on the age and stage and everything going on in your family. But you can do it. You can learn one new thing every day. Today it was about ambulances and traffic signals. We Googled how they relate to each other. Number 2, the heart. To me, when I check in with my heart as my best friend, I'm checking in with how am I connecting to other people in my life? Because this life is way too fragile to do alone. Right? And way too serious to be serious all the time. So I want to make sure that I'm in community. So I'm checking in with my heart and checking in with intentional connection. I'm texting people. I'm reaching out. I'm probably sending a postcard or an email. I'm thinking about social media in a way that builds a network of people so that other people around me feel seen and soothed and safe and valued and so loved. Okay. I really think about intentional connection everywhere I go, which means I offer to bring someone's shopping cart back for them. I open the door, those sort of things. That matters too. And the other thing I think of when I think of my heart is pursuing passions. So having a hobby. And I think this is really important for caregivers, for moms, to know that there's a hobby that is just for you. Sometimes it's hard to see a sense of identity outside of caregiving. And especially if you're in a season of little kids or a deployed spouse, or you're brand new to a town, or maybe you're older and your spouse is aging and you're becoming the caregiver, wherever you are in your life, because I know there's a lot of different listeners, having a hobby that is yours, your project, something where you can see progress. Maybe it's making cards. Maybe it's drawing. Maybe it's trying all the recipes in one book. Maybe it's puzzling. Whatever it is, have a hobby that you do just for you that doesn't involve the other people in your house for any reason. Number 3, the other thing I check in with is my soul, okay? And that's when I think of my soul, I think of my spirit. I am a Christian Catholic by faith, and so I often say a prayer. I spray painted a labyrinth in our new backyard. I don't know if you've ever done a prayer labyrinth walk, but that is a very sacred, quiet time for me. Having a moment of reflection where you can say thank you and be filled with gratitude that you are loved and on purpose and not an accident. That's important. And the other way to do soul spirit is by how you talk to yourself. And I said that these practices really lifted me out of grief. And in that season, I literally set so many alarms on my phone that I was a nuisance to be around, but I programmed a lot of self-talk alerts into my phone, and they would go off at random times, and then I would read them and remind myself of all the good that was around me. So try that, positive self-talk. If you need help with that, there are many Breathe With Me episodes here on Keep Calm Mother On. And the last part that we check in with ourselves daily is our body. And now this is a key trigger because I'm coaching one of the moms that I'm coaching right now has a baby that's under 1 year old. And the key thing for her right now isn't exercise, it's actually prioritizing sleep and letting herself not wake up too early and knowing that that's the best way to take care of her body. So know what season you're in and know if you just need to do some kitchen dance parties, do some squats, find some 5-minute exercises on YouTube, maybe join Peloton. I can give you a referral code if you message me on Instagram. Do a walk, do some yoga stretches. I mean, I'm sure hopefully you know some way that feels good to move your body. Maybe it's swimming laps. Maybe it's walking in the water if you have access to a pool. Maybe it's pickleball. Whatever it is, know that if you're in the season that you're getting enough sleep, then your body wants you to move it too. But you don't have to move it to earn the food. We're not talking about that. We're talking about move it so that you can remember that you're actually alive today. And the last part of prioritizing your body is remembering what foods you like and trying to sit down for a meal. Usually, sitting down for lunch is something that's hard for me to do, but it is the kindest thing I can do for myself. So nourishing myself with food, sitting down and making a plate and inviting other people to sit with me, or just saying, Christy, you're going to sit here at the new kitchen bar that you built and you're going to eat this food and you can nourish yourself. You don't have to go. It's important. It's not an emergency. You don't have to eat standing. Okay. So maybe that's not a hang up for you, but if it is, know that you're not alone. In conclusion, remember, every day you get to be the happiest human you know, or the happiest mom you know, the happiest dad you know. And the ways that you can do that are by simple habits, okay? And simple doesn't mean easy, but check in with your head, your heart, your soul, and your body, okay? Start small. Maybe 1 minute in each of those categories, okay? It's essential for being the best version of yourself. You are literally the only one who can take care of you. I read a book this summer. It was a novel in verse called Louder Than Hunger, and it's semi-autobiographical, even though it's a fiction novel. And it's about a young boy who has anorexia. And his grandmother writes him letters while he's inpatient. And one of the things that she always tells him is, take care of my boy for me. Take care of my boy for me. Telling him to take care of himself, right? That he's precious. So I'm telling you right now, take care of my friend for me. Take care of my friend for me. I am so glad that you are here on earth and you are so important. If in the morning time or in your soul time, you find it helpful to open a page-a-day book and you're like, I need a pep talk. I'm not really good at positive self-talk yet. Then my book, You Are the Right Mom for Your Kids, which is linked in the show notes and is only on Amazon in Kindle or paper, is the right book for you. And maybe you'll leave it by your coffee cup in the morning and randomly open it up and remember that you're not alone. Okay? So I've given you a lot of self-care ideas, but here's one last one that's also family fun ideas. I want you to maybe make a bingo card with your kids. Draw 4 columns, okay? Label it head, heart, soul, and body. And in each column, list different actions or activities related to that. So like for head, it could be read a new fact or solve a riddle, share something that you learned today, sit for 90 seconds in quiet, For heart, it could be give someone a compliment, share a favorite memory, do a random act of kindness for a family member or a stranger. For soul, it can be share something you're grateful for, do a mindfulness activity, talk about what's your most favorite thing, share, your passion. And for body, it could be like do 10 jumping jacks, eat a piece of fruit, eat a vegetable, go for a walk, set a time to go to bed or set an alarm and wake up on time. So decide if you're going to do this head, heart, soul, body bingo for a day, a week, a month, whatever it is that you want to practice, maybe like on family vacation. And it can be a way to check in with yourselves and really nourish yourself together. And each family member works the complete activities, and your goal is to get blackout. And then when everyone has blackout, you can do something as a family to celebrate. But it's amazing modeling for how your kids can be empowered and self-motivated to take care of themselves. Because they're amazing too. I am so glad that I was brave enough to record this and embraced that the studio is set up. There will be new podcasts from now until forever. So jump on in. I've started recording with guests again. I can't wait for you to hear those episodes. I have 3 on the books and we're back. Let's keep calm and mother on together. I'm so glad that you are here on earth. Peace. Oh, and don't forget, you can always follow me on Instagram at everydaychristy. It's in the show notes.